I don't think I've told you about the period of time in the Army before going overseas. I can sort of start at the beginning to make it easier for you to understand. After we were married in New Orleans, the 102nd Station Hospital officers and enlisted men were sent to Texarkana, Texas, where there was a Red River Ordnance Depot and a large hospital. And each of us in the 102nd Station Hospital were placed in an appropriate position in the hospital to work to experience how a hospital really works. I was a general medical officer in one of the wards, taking care of enlisted men, and surgeons went to the operating room and radiologists went to the appropriate department, and so we were in training. To get to Texarkana, Mom and I did not go with the rest of the hospital. I think they went by train. We took Moss's car. Moss was Yvette's brother, and we took his Plymouth and drove to Texarkana. We did not have a place to live, so we checked into the only decent hotel in Texarkana. That's the Hotel Grimm. It was pretty Spartan, no unusual furniture or anything to soften the view, but we were comfortable. Each day when I went to the hospital to work, and Mom went to scout the town to see where we might find a place to live more comfortable and reasonable than the hotel. The only experience that I can remember in the hotel is that Mom awakened one morning with diarrhea and cramping. I gave her instructions to just take sips of water and be quiet. I was about to leave the room when suddenly I had cramps and diarrhea. Later we found out that we were taking our meals at what appeared to be a reliable cafeteria, but when the diarrhea appeared, we made inquiries and found that the cafeteria used mineral oil in its dressing for their salads. When I went to work at the hospital, as I mentioned, Mom took the car and scouted what might be available for us to live. She was told that there were apartments available. She went to the spot and found a barn that had been partitioned off. In the barn below and in the loft, and they were expected that enlisted men and their wives would live there. Mom was a little more uh, particular than that for both of us. She found a house where a woman was waiting to hear for where her husband was going to be stationed, and Mom rented the place. And when she picked me up, she told me we were going to live in a house, which was very nice. One day, after I was at work, the man next door saw Mom and came over to be friendly. And the first question was, "Who is your God?" That's the mark of the Southern Baptist who feels that everybody should be a Southern Baptist. Mom said, "I'm Jewish." He stopped talking, looked, and said to her, "You can't be Jewish." She said, "Why not?" He said, "You don't have any horns." So thus began Mom's education of a Southern Baptist neighbor to point out to him what Jews were and what Southern Baptists were. He was so taken aback and actually pleased, so he offered to mow the lawn in the house we were going to live in. Um, Living in Texarkana had its advantages. They had a drive-in theater. Mom and I would get into pajamas and drive to the theater. The weather was very pleasant, so we did well. When the time came for me to leave, Mom became distressed, weepy, and fortunately there was another doctor who was not part of our outfit. He had his wife with him. The two of them stayed with Mom while I was packing, and when I left, promising they would stay with Mom until she felt able to drive a car back to New Orleans. I left and by train went to the West Coast to Camp Stoneman. Camp Stoneman was nothing more than a staging area where hospitals and other outfits would remain, and when their number was up, they would board ship and head for Southern Pacific. I had some free time, and officers were permitted to leave camp, so I went into town. I think it was San Francisco, but I'm not sure. I wanted to find something to send to Yvette. I wandered around a very upbeat, upscale department store. When I went to the houseware section, I found a beautiful set of glass dishes. We had no glass. We had no dishes, and that seemed to be the perfect gift. I told the clerk that I wanted them nailed. She said, I'll wrap them so they don't break. Give me the name of the person and address. So I gave her Mom's address. She was going to live with her parents while I was gone. Then she said to me, what's the return address? I didn't say anything. I gave her a few moments, and she looked at me in my uniform, and she said, oh, meaning I wouldn't have a return address that she could use. Back in the camp, the most exciting thing was the movies, and the outstanding one was Holiday Inn with Bing Crosby, Fred Astaire, and the songs by Irving Berlin. The big hit was White Christmas. Bing Crosby sang it, and it was extremely popular. A time came when our outfit boarded ship. It was an Italian luxury liner. I forget the name. And I stayed on deck. As we pulled out, we hadn't gone more than 50 feet when I became violently ill with motion sickness, seasickness. I dashed down to my bed, found a second awl in my case, took it, and fell asleep. I awakened about 3 hours later. My motion sickness was gone. I went up board. We were at sea, and I was on my way to the South Pacific.